Five highest conference champions and 11 auto bids. Is that the right thing for the Big 12, for the country? And I think a lot of people have a lot of questions. I'll give my 2 cents. Stick around. This is Locked On West Virginia.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and I am your host here. Welcome into Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking football again. And look, it's our lives are at stake. Just kidding. It feels like it sometimes when it gets to talking conference realignment. I stay away from these topics, if you haven't noticed, for the most part, because it's not that I don't have an opinion on them or I don't know anything about them. It's just that they're sad in some ways because we're on the wrong side of this, and it's a constant uphill battle. Every little inch we get feels like nothing in some cases. In this case, I'm curious how other people are going to feel. Is Brett Yormark making a huge mistake? It's a fair question because a lot of people feel like he is by supporting this model that would possibly give the SEC and Big Ten a lot more power than, let's say, even 3 conference bids, right? So we're going to get into that. Also, man, for you West Virginia fans, I've got something for you because West Virginia has a lot of talent on this roster this year. I keep going through the tape, and I keep finding guys, right? Freshman quarterback Max Anderson. If you haven't seen his tape yet, I'm going to show you some stuff that will blow your freaking mind. Also, Jett Walker, the running back coming in next year, is getting a lot of hype out of Texas by their people, not even our people. We're going to check him out too because you want to talk about it, can stick his foot in the ground and go 90. You want to talk about a guy that can be elusive at 6'2", 220 pounds. He got that. So we're going to talk about that too. Max Anderson's got a cannon for an arm. So we're going to get there. But before we get there, obviously, we have to acknowledge our channel sponsor. We have to talk about who brings this episode to you, lovely people. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by none other than FanDuel, y'all. Right now on FanDuel, you can get $200 in bonus bets when you win that first $5 bet. But you have to go to FanDuel.com to get started today, Junior. All right, guys. So I have my thoughts on this situation with Yormark, and if you're not familiar, it's been circulating around today in the last few hours that Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark told Heather Dinich, he told Brandon Marcello at CBS Sports that his league not only approves, which that's the Big 12, that's us, the 5+11 model, but it also is when presented to the Power 4 commissioners that met recently in Charlotte, has always been our first choice. It's fair and rewards on-field performance. I'm not surprised SEC coaches like it. So I just wanted to kind of give my opinion on this because I absolutely can see where he's coming from. I can also see where this is a huge mistake. I'm going to give both sides. I think, that's the easiest way for me to do this. And here we go. So 6 pros for the Big 12 and 6 cons. So here are the pros. We'll go pros first, or we can go pro-con. It really doesn't matter. Obviously, the biggest pro I could think of is you get a guaranteed shot at success, right? If West Virginia storms the Big 12 in 2025, then they'll seize the conference. The conference's automatic call for college football playoff bid, no questions asked. So that would put us in, but we would be one of only 5. In the other model, we had at least 2. But here's the thing. Not only is this taking away 2 from the SEC, I believe it was 2, right? Was it 4-2 and 2? Or was it 3-2-2? Somebody remind me. All the numbers are all jumbled up in my head. I know they had at least 1 or 2 more than everybody else. And so what this does is it takes away that finite guaranteed number of slots away from the SEC and Big Ten, right? So that means that we also have a lesser number but also potentially more, right? And it's very complicated when you really start to think about it. But when you consider the biases that are at play in this world today, look at what happened to West Virginia in the NCAA tournament. And that's 64, 65 spots or whatever it is now. 60, I think, what is it? Maybe even 68. It's 68. So if you count the play-in games. So West Virginia left out a 68 team tournament in which they played very well in the Big 12 conference. So, and what can be considered at least the Big 10, right? In this basketball day and age, you could go SEC, then this year, then last year, then you could probably go Big 12. So that would have been like a Big 10 team, finishing in the top 3 or 4 of their conference and being left out of the playoffs or whatever, whatever you want to put it up against. But so, I think a lot of people were saying, yeah, but what we're going to see is Vanderbilt's going to be the sixth best team in the conference next year, and they're going to get in over the second or third rated Big 12 team or ACC team, if you will, because it's not just the Big 12, ACC as well. Obviously the at-large upset potential is something that a lot of us would consider, with 11 at-large bids, something that would be beneficial to the Big 12. You could have a 10-2 Baylor. You could have a 10-2 Texas Tech. You could have a 10-2 West Virginia with wins over, like this year, West Virginia, we could have wins over like Pitt and Kansas, right? And then especially if you rack up a strong strength of record, unlike the 4-2-2-1 model, so it was the 4-4-2-2-1 model. Okay. I had it written down. I just didn't know where here. So it was 4. See, so what you're doing here is you're taking 4 away or 3 away, and you're giving them only 1. But the question is will they get more than that in some cases? And, will both conferences get more than that? Could they both get 5 in any given year? And then you're talking about very few spots left for anybody else. It's hard to say. I don't know. I think you could look at it either way. I think if it's just somewhat unbiased, I think the Big 12 stands to gain a little bit here. And it's certainly, and I don't know how close this is to even being done. I know that there's support for it. I don't know if the SEC is still going to push for this 4-4-2 or 2-2 model or what, but this is just my opinion on what Yormark said on this here. Obviously, so being aligned with the ACC in this, I think, is important. And I think I heard somebody saying earlier before I came on that most ACC officials agree with this model as well. And so it's continuously, we're continually being side by side with an ACC against the SEC and the Big Ten in some ways. So I don't know, if there's any kind of fighting against the AC or the Big Ten here when it comes to how they feel about this 5+11 model. I don't know, but hopefully it's not the case, because man, it'd be nice to finally get on the same page with them in some way. If you want to talk about reasons we don't want the model, well, it could guarantee fewer bids, right? A 5+11 model offers 1 fewer guaranteed bid compared to alternatives like the 4-4-3-3-1 or the 4-4-2-2, whatever, which could ensure 2 Big 12 teams get in the playoff no matter what, no matter when, no matter how, right? In years when the Big 12 has multiple strong teams, which hasn't happened a lot. So, the more you start to work this out, you start to say, well, I mean, there may be years where we still only get 1, maybe 2 in the way things are if it's 5+11, but at least you're not locking yourself out of that if you have really good years. And so, the reason I titled this huge mistake is because that's all I've read online. And I'm just curious, what am I missing here? Why is there so many people against this? Is it because that inherent bias that we all suspect? Because if that's the case, then I understand, but yeah, I don't know. I think I think it's hard to say which way this thing is going to roll whenever it comes down to, and also who is going to be voting on this. Is it going to be the same people as always? Or are we going to, get a unique kind of committee together? It's hard to tell, man. But, you do obviously risk of at-large exclusion. But with 11 bids, the SEC and Big Ten could dominate, select the selections due to their perceived strength and brand bias, which is, like I said earlier, I'm just reading these as I've had them written down. But, because Yormark has previously criticized the College Football Playoff Committee for focusing on over logos over the resumes. So that's why I think a lot of people were raising their eyebrows to this, because he has said this before. So, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I think it's anything but give them 8, right, together. It's almost like, even though 5 plus 11 may not be the very best model out there, and I don't know what is really, at least you're not giving these two big time, who already have everything 8 total. So I think it's more that than it is it's 5 plus 11. It's more so taking away some from them, guaranteed anyways. And then also group of 5 competition. It still grants a group of 5 champion an automatic bid, which Yormark argued should not outrank the Big 12 champion, at least the top 4 seed. If a group of 5 team like Boise State secures a bye over name the Big 12 champion, it could definitely undermine the conference's prestige. And you wonder about that. If there's bias, could people knowing that? And this is getting too much into conspiracy for me. But could guys and people knowing that undermine the Big 12 and say, hey, let's put this team in this year, and just kind of make us look worse over time? It's an interesting conversation to have. Let's go to break. I got a couple more people to talk about today, guys, and I'm excited about it because, look, West Virginia's got a lot of talent. I've told you that. But, man, if you haven't seen Max Anderson, the freshman quarterback, throw a football, and if you haven't seen Jett Walker run one, well, you're about to next, and you're going to be excited. Stick around. We'll talk about it. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by, who we like to talk about around here for the most part. But today it's going to be FanDuel. Right now, over on FanDuel, if you look at it, they are doing it big, as always, and not surprised to see it because the NBA playoffs are in full swing. Every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. And whether it's a game-winning shot, breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And, which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could those trends help you build your next big bet? FanDuel's got that answer for you. So if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. And make everyone more today with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Oh, it's segment 2. Let's crack a do. And listen, I'm excited to show you guys this. I've spoken with both Max Anderson and Jett Walker in the last 24 hours. And I was able to get some workout tape from Max. Jett, if you're watching, I know you said you were going to be watching. I'll do you next, man. So just stick around. It may take 5 or 10 more minutes, but I'll get there. So Max Anderson, guys, he's on the roster and he's on scholarship. I went and made sure to check because I had somebody ask me, because I was showing somebody some of this tape yesterday or the day before. And he was like, is he on scholarship? And I was like, yeah. And because I think he was thinking he was a walk-on at first. And when you watch this tape, you'll see why he's not. Now, this is not the typical tape that I show. This is workout footage. It's quite a few clips we're going to show here. But I want you to get a feel for the kind of arm talent we're seeing here, because Max Anderson and Jett Walker could end up being really good together, man. And I'm excited about that in the future. But this is Max Anderson, obviously a freshman quarterback at West Virginia. Is he going to make an impact this year? But let's watch. And I'll try to flip through these as eloquently as I can. It's not easy because I have to go through each one individually. But this is Max Anderson in practice reps, just tossing the football around the field. And you'll see the velocity, the arm talent, the release, the motion is all there. Footwork is there. He is way ahead of schedule, in my opinion, as a thrower. And then you add in the fact that he's a dual threat player, and you look at some of his tape out of Martinsburg, and he can run it too. He ran for almost 600 yards last year. And it's not just a serviceable kind of runner. He's a good runner. So check him out here.
Ready to go.
Very free ball, but the thing about him is that motion. You can tell he plays baseball. I don't even know, but I would guess he plays baseball with this motion here. It's a 3/4 arm angle release, but as you can see, the release is very good here. And not every one of these are showed as good as some of the others.
Ready.
But there's a couple here where it's like truly jaw on the floor wow moments. You'll see them when we get to them.
Ready.
These are all out of the shotgun, obviously. Very pretty ball. Very pretty ball. Love the footwork. Love the arm.
Ready to go.
Just typical 3-step gop out of the shotgun to an out pattern. Nicely thrown there. I don't know which one of these are which, guys, so you'll just have to stick with me. Here's somebody in the slot next to him. He's in the shotgun again. 1, 2, 3. And this is a very pretty ball to the pylon of the end zone. But I love the follow through on this. I love the release. You know, he throws it so effortlessly, guys, when he gets rid of the ball. And just look at that thing, man. It's a perfect spiral. Beautiful. And look at, like, he's got that follow through that all the great ones have after he throws it.
Ready.
Which is something I really like to see here. And you look 1, 2, 3. Look at that footwork. Look at that toe. Look at the right hand in the left hip pocket. Very well done, man. You know, this kid, you know, a lot of times kids in Martinsburg, or not in Martinsburg, but West Virginia, can get criticized for maybe not being as developed as they should be or some others are. That's even starting to go away. We have quarterbacks coming out year after year that are really impressive. Here's another one. Look at the velocity on that throw, guys. I mean, that's a grown man throw.
Ready.
There are college quarterbacks that don't throw it with this much velocity.
Go.
And I'm not saying it's Rich Gannon. I'm not saying it's Aaron Rodgers level. For a kid that's 17, maybe 18 years old, this is really good. What's he going to do in a couple years when he's had a college weight room, when he's had college eating, when he's had better training, better coaching? It's kind of scary to think about. Look at the velocity here. First of all, look at the step. Look how much, on his step, he doesn't take a big stride. It's just an average stride. Look at the toe pointing just inside of his receiver. I mean, he does a lot of, you can tell he's worked on his craft, man. I really like watching Max toss this thing around. He is very talented and can get on the field. Here's another just beautiful deep ball from him. And he posted a couple of these on social media yesterday, which was the reason I reached out to him, because I was like, on a couple of these, this is one of the ones I saw. Just the velocity, the accuracy, everything about these throws are impressive to me. And I'm excited to see more as we continue to go through these, because there's some of these I haven't seen yet. Throwing on the run. So this is more about his technique, if you will. So throwing it on the run, and look, and if you look at the Martinsburg film, he throws it on the run a lot there, running left, running light, whatever you want. Both hands on the ball, beautifully done.
Go.
Same kind of play. Very nice follow through again. And I think we got one more here.
Ready to go.
Yeah, that's a great view there. So look at the angle from here. You get to see the perfect angle for this. The camera's set up in such a great spot. Maybe that's by design. But you look at how he releases this thing and the velocity he's getting on it. Very good. And you look at the calf muscles, the leg muscles, very defined kid. He's got some muscle. Now, one thing I'll say is, and maybe he knows this, his windup is pretty It's a little big, on a windup. That's literally like one of the only things I can even. And I mean, this is just in practice, so I don't want to sit here and say that this is an issue. I have to go back and watch more game footage, but the windup is maybe a little big. I don't know, but I mean, you look at the way that thing comes off his hand. Boy, it explodes off of his hand, guys. A lot. I'll tell you what, Max Anderson's one to watch for West Virginia, and I don't know if this year, I think wouldn't be fair to say that the kid's going to get on the field this year. Here are the ones from yesterday. These were the impressive ones.
Ready to go.
I like this one because it's kind of Patrick Mahomes-esque, if you will, the way he releases this. I won't say it's the most technically sound throw, but man, the way he releases it, the way it comes off his hand again, so cool. And a lot of velocity there. It's nicely done. So Max Anderson, man, a lot to watch here.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I think this is another one of those that won't let me enlarge. Oh, there we go.
Ready.
We may have already seen these once already. I just wanted to make sure. Yep. Drop that one in the bucket again. So Max Anderson, guys, give him a hand, give him W's in the chat, everything. Thanks to Max for letting me see this footage. Excited about what he brings to the table for us as a true freshman quarterback. And I think he's going to have a shot to be not just good, but really good for the Mountaineers. And love to see an in-state kid that's this talented. There's a reason Rich Rod and company offered him. So excited to see it. Let's go to break really quick. When we come back, man, we got somebody that's just as impressive coming up, guys. Jett Walker is doing it at the highest level in Texas football. We're going to talk about him next. Stick around. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right, and we are back here, Locked On West Virginia. Thank you guys for joining in. So I want to do this one first, and this is on the Rival Sports site. And I want to thank them for posting this. This is on YouTube. This is some Dave Campbell's Texas Football, who is very big, talking about one of the biggest voices in college football in Texas. So let's get to what he said here.
215 pounds. He actually played at Lampasas his first two seasons, his freshman and sophomore season, transferred to Georgetown last year. I've got his stats right here, his career stats.
You guys should hear these.
Career stats, okay? 3 years on a varsity squad in Texas. 4,360 rushing yards, 60 touchdowns.
That'll get your ears pricked up.
And then he's got 137 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in the air. This dude is an absolute freak show.
And they play at the 5A Division I level in Texas.
Yeah.
So 5A Division one level in Texas is the best football on the planet, right? You can argue some maybe Florida, maybe some in California, maybe in Ohio you'll find one or two. Outside of that, maybe some PA, but like very, very, very few, if any, come close to the 6A level in Texas. And this kid put up those numbers in that league, which is better than most people would say some JUCOs, some lower level college teams in some cases. And I don't know if that's really true. It may be a little bit, maybe that's a little overblown, but I mean, Texas football is where
it's the third largest classification.
So they show some highlights here, but I've got some pulled up separately that we're just going to watch so that we don't have to continue to watch their YouTube video. So here is some Jett Walker highlights for you guys, and get ready to be I'll say amazed. This kid is very capital V talented, and I told him earlier before I came on, please stay at West Virginia, because he's in Texas at the highest level doing this, and you're going to see it. I'd say he's a 21, 22 mile an hour guy on the gun, probably in that 4.4, 4.5 range, and he runs away from everybody. He does. I would say probably 4.4 at his size, and he's got side-to-side wiggle. He's got everything that Rich Rod wants in a running back, and I just pray to God that none of those Texas schools come after him, because as it stands, Houston is the only one that's really offered him, and that's shocking to me. straight up the gut, splitting safeties, and he's gone. I mean, that's the first play you see, and it's not close. He does this on tape over and over. But he look at the contact balance. He really takes hits well, and his size, 6'2", 215, 220 pounds, kind of tell you why. I mean, if you're going to arm tackle this kid, you might as well not even pack your lunch that day because he's running through that. As you can see on the play here, huge hole off the right side, but he gets hit in the backfield, right? He makes a guy miss there. There's one, there's two, and watch him outrun these 6A high school Texas players to the end zone. This isn't, no offense to Martinsburg at all, but this isn't Martinsburg. This is 6A in Texas. So I'm saying the caliber of athlete 1 through 11 is better. This is no shade at Max Anderson. Max Anderson is as talented as this, but he just happened to play against, at some positions, lesser competition. It's just the truth at West Virginia, state of West Virginia. Texas is just so much bigger. So you're going to have more to go on. Oh man, this is a good play here. You just to see the speed here. Very, very good speed. He runs. You never see him getting caught from behind on tape. I'll tell you that. Number 81 just made a great block for him, but there is some of that elusiveness I was telling you about. Some of the blocks. He's good at reading blocks. But I mean, what he does is when he's running at full speed, he's able to make these cuts that put him in a position to succeed. And you'll see here, as he gets to the secondary, and as he, his dude makes a really good block here, but he's got to make a cut to try to angle this thing in a little bit, right? Because he's heading outside, and this guy's trying to play for both. But watch this, the little cut. It's just a little cut, but he does this, and he can do it on a larger scale too, a lot. Boom, just that little cut to get him to the end zone, and he stayed at full speed while he did it. Not everybody can do that. A lot of guys just run into him and they're tackled. I know it made it seem like a small thing, but it's not. Here he goes again. This is 6A Texas talent that he outruns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys to the end zone. The first thing you think about when you think of a 6'2", 220-pound back is not speed. I mean, Adrian Peterson was 6'1", 220, 230, but he's a true freak show. Here he is again. Boom. Running over a guy. The entire team. Imagine when this kid gets in the weight room and adds a little bit more. I mean, I don't know if he wants to. Maybe he doesn't need to. But, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he has to, but he's going to gain in college. It's just the way it is. And he's growing as a person. There he comes. You see him cut it up in the hole there. Very nicely done. He's kind of got a little bit of, I don't know. Oh, great blitz pickup. Oh, so nasty on the blitz pickups, guys. He loves sticking his nose in there. He's got a little Ollie Gordon to his game, I think. And maybe it's not fair to compare him to Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon, 6'3", 230, whatever he is. He's kind of got some of that to him, where he's just really long-legged, really quick. Here he is again.
Walker has a big hole right up the middle, breaks a tackle, and Walker into the end zone. Touchdown.
And he's obviously on the all-name team with Jett Walker, right? You got to give him that. So continue to watch a couple more of these. And maybe we've seen them all already. I don't know. But look at those strides. Just huge strides. I mean, goodness gracious, he's long-legged. Look, after he breaks his tackle, watch him high step it a little bit here. Just big strides, man. This kid can go. And honestly, we haven't seen everything he can do in these highlights. Like, if you go watch his game footage, he dances around a bit more than this when he has to. But for the most part, he is a straight ahead, a run you over, I'm going to break your face mask type guy. I can't wait for him to beat Owen Schmidt. I think Owen Schmidt would be a great person for him to meet and talk to. One of our great running backs played fullback, but Owen knows a thing or two about breaking face masks, literally. So very excited for Jett, and here's kind of what he looks like. So really good kid, obviously, and a lot of talent. So thankfully, Venables and company haven't made him an offer yet. I told him, I said, man, hopefully Texas doesn't offer him a bag. I was kidding with him. I probably shouldn't have said that, but so this is a kid that I really have a lot of faith in too. And one thing, I say this a lot about Rich Rod and company, guys, but one thing I don't ever doubt about Rich Rod is running backs. Never, not once has he ever missed on a starting running back at West Virginia. Usually our starting running back is elite, right? Or very good, maybe not always elite, but you can go back to any year you want to look, and it's always been such good production from the running back spot. I would have loved to have seen Tavon Austin and Rich Rod's offense, because I think he would have played running back, and some things like that. So that's pretty much it, guys. I know I don't do a lot of conference realignment on here, and I don't have that kind of audience necessarily, but I did want to talk about it some. So, I don't know with the Yormark thing. I think there's a chance that it could be a mistake, the 5+11 model, but overall, I think we're going to have to trust Yormark and company. Maybe more will come out on what's happening. But generally speaking, guys, that's it, man. I wanted to show you guys these two players today. Excited about them both. One's on campus. One will be on campus this time next year. Hopefully Jett Walker enrolls early and he just gets here, because I think he'll be an impact freshman next year that I'll have. You'll see it next year. I'll have him rated very highly coming into next year. If everything stays as it is and he ends up at West Virginia, he'll be a guy that I've got fighting for a spot next year in that first three guys, and possibly more. I really like him a lot. So thanks to Max, thanks to Jett. Appreciated the tape that I got, and I'll certainly keep up with you guys this coming year as well, especially you, Jett, and then Max. Hopefully you get to play some. And I'll see you guys on the other one. Probably do another video here in a little bit. There's a couple other topics I want to get to. It just depends. It's the off season, man. It's getting hard to come up with stuff and that people want to talk about. So hopefully we get some stuff on meat on the bone here in the next couple of days, whether that's portal or whatever, because I need it. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow or this evening, probably, even though it's already 8 o'clock. I'd like to do another one here in about an hour. We'll see. If I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And I'm out of here.